This is the Lichtman live post show, the greatest post show that's ever existed on the face of this earth. If this is your first time tuning into the post show, it's a little more laid back, a little bit more chill vibes here. We just kind of hang out, relax, chat. It's not as formal as my dad's show. What up, VG Moose? Stephen K says, I like it. I like it too. Hi again, Vonda T. What up, my boy? What up, my boy? Sam, were you surprised by the Florida results? No. Earth Sky just donated $50. Thank you so much. I was not surprised by the Florida results. I think earlier this week on one of my live streams, if you haven't been tuning in, I've been streaming a lot. Earlier on one of my live streams, I said it would be surprising if Dems won in Florida. So no. We are live, Abe. I'm good, Tim. Good show tonight, Sam says Ruben. Yeah, that was a great show, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys all made it what it was. Crawford won. Yeah, hey, good news in America, if you ask me. We got results. We got a win for Susan Crawford. That's huge. Hello in Germany, Lee King. Steffi said, Dems were never going to win in Florida, but it was the margin that mattered. Yeah, but like my dad said, don't get too excited because in 2023, there was some hopeful signs for Dems, and then we all saw what happened in 2024. So CNN and MSNBC called for Susan. Screw Musk. Yeah, screw that guy. Get billionaires out of our elections. Period. Jean says, hello, and thank God she won. Yeah, it's exciting. And she's crushing. She's over 10 points ahead right now. Let's see. Let's check. Milwaukee still has more votes. Love DIY says, I'm over Musk. Me too, man. Laugh out loud, more billionaires gave to Democrats. Let's get rid of them too. We don't want billionaires having more say than your average person. Whether they give to Democrats or Republicans, I don't care. People are pretty happy. Hey, celebrate. If you're happy, celebrate. I'm happy. I didn't want Brad Mold and to be saying what can and can't happen in a big swing state. Her lead is under 100K now. Not according to the New York Times. SSK says, hey man, how you been? It's been a long time. Thanks for coming back. If you guys don't know, I'm pretty much streaming full time now. So I will be live tomorrow. And if you want to catch one of my previous live streams, that's cool too. I'll probably be live tomorrow in the afternoon. Sumba says, Brad is cooked. that was funny when I made my dad go like this during the stream, if you saw that. Tanika Washington says, great news tonight. Love you and your dad. Well, we love you for watching. Kev says, missed the show before. What did I miss? You missed that my dad called Susan Crawford winning at 6%, which is pretty impressive. What's the deal with a voter ID amendment? Let's check it out. Question 1. Voters will decide whether to amend the Wisconsin Constitution to require photo identification to vote. Wisconsin law already requires voters to show identification, but passage of this Republican-backed ballot question would make it harder for that requirement to be removed. So it's not like a huge deal because they're already doing it basically. It just makes it more entrenched in their state constitution is what I'm seeing. Although Madison voted no. Shout out to Dane County. This is really the important race of the night. If you didn't see the Florida results, District 6, which was Mike Waltz's old district, Randy Fine, the Republican, won 56.7% of the vote versus Josh's 42.7%. And in House District 1, which was Matt Gaetz' old district, Jimmy Petronis won 57% of the vote, and Gay Valamont That's quite a name. Gay Velamont. 142.2% of the vote. This is where everybody's eyes were tonight, though, folks. And it is looking good for Susan Crawford. Why do Republicans push voter ID so much? Because it makes it harder to vote, and they usually do better when less people vote. My mom says April Fool's is canceled because there's no bigger joke than the man who's running our country right now. That's a good one. CNN called it for Crawford. Miski says out with Chuck, in with Booker. I agree. I agree with you. Politica Pal says, I'm getting sick of the mainstream media using ambiguous language like reform, change, or overhaul to describe Trump's dangerous actions. They're as spineless as the establishment Dems. Go off, Queen. Why do some people not recognize Trump as a bad man? I think a lot of people do. I think most people probably do. I think a lot of people who don't call it out publicly do it for a bunch of reasons. For their own power, because he represents or pushes policies that they like, et cetera, et cetera. Thoughts on the electoral seats flipping in the next few years? Something about Cali and New York losing seats and Texas and Florida gaining. Whatever the census says, man, is what the census says. You have to provide birth certificate to get a license, so why do we need it again? To make it harder to vote. Also, if a woman got married and her last name is different than their birth certificate. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I agree it's pointless in my mind. Why hasn't New York Times called it yet? I don't know. What are they waiting for? Elon equals April Fool. Oh, bang. Literally, as soon as I said that, the check mark came. What are the chances of that? The moment I was like, New York Times, where you at, bro? Boom. There's the check mark. Guys, if you're watching my stream, give it a quick like. We got 500 people watching, but only 115 likes. Thank you, 80 Mart, for your donation. Getting a ton of views. Son, best post show on YouTube. Yes, that is correct. If you don't know, now you know. New York Times depends on the AP, yeah. But they just called it Susan Collins victory. It's official on Lichtman Live via the AP/New York Times. No, not on Lichtman Live, on the Lichtman Live post show, sorry. Hello, Canada. Shout out Maximus and shout out Canada. Can Ossoff win over Marjorie Taylor Greene? Are they running again? I don't think. Are they running against each other? Good work, Sam, says DD De Cruz. Thank you. Well, poor Elon wasted a cheese hat and $2 million. Yeah, dog, suck it. Why couldn't these people show up last November? That's a good question that I still don't have a good answer to. Sam, you should take a look at the questions from the literacy test they used against blacks in 1965. I went to college, and trust me, it tripped me up like crazy. That's nuts. Does this race show that Trump didn't really win Wisconsin? No. This election proves that Wisconsin was winnable for Biden. Now that might be true. That could very well be true. Do you plan to take Discord calls again someday? Yeah, I do. I just gotta get my technical side of those things together. Are there rumors that Marjorie Taylor Greene is running for Senate? I missed this. I see people talking about it in the chat, but My dad can gloat now. That is kind of crazy. He called it at 6%. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is running against Ossoff for Senate. Why have I not heard of this? Sam, scroll down on the screen. Will Jill Underly win the state superintendent election? I have no idea. Superintendent of Public Instruction. Jill Underly, Wisconsin State Superintendent of Public Instruction. What is that? I don't even know what a state superintendent of public instruction is. Let's look it up. What is a superintendent of public instruction, also known as state superintendent of education, is the chief executive officer for overseeing and coordinating the state's public elementary. Okay, so it's like a education position. Yeah, I think she's gonna win. Why does she have a star? Oh, because she's the incumbent. Looks like she's gonna win. Yes, there's 63% reporting. She's almost 100,000 votes ahead. I think she's going to win. Why don't I know about this Marjorie Taylor Greene? Marjorie Taylor Greene Senate. Oh. John Osso says Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't have the guts to run for Senate. So it's not official yet. It's mostly speculation right now, it seems. Is Sam single? I'm single. Hit me up, ladies. Nah, it's weird to say. This the feeling we want in November, damn it. You're not wrong, Lincoln. Debbie says, let's hope she isn't running. Whatever Republican is going to run in Georgia is not going to be a good choice, no matter who it is. Let's just hope Ossoff wins. I think that's the key here. Brian Kemp might run for the Georgia Senate seat. Yeah, he might. Wasn't Bloomberg the other one who tried to buy elections at one point? Yeah, I think he definitely put... Look, you won't catch me slipping. I'm pretty consistent. I want billionaires to have less say over who our elected officials are. Period. Whether they're giving to Democrats or Republicans. Lichtman live post show Tinder edition. Let's do it. You okay, Sam? You look super tired. No, I'm not tired. I mean, it was a long day, but I'm not tired. I'm okay. Jenna says, I'm over Marjorie Taylor Greene and her toddler tantrums. I kind of agree. Susan says, like, share, subscribe. I agree. One person, one vote. I agree with that too. Sumba says there was a lot of waste and fraud today. Musk wasting money on this raise. Got him. Brittany says Wisconsin can't be bought. We showed up to the polls tonight for sure. Shout out to you, Brittany. George Soros helped Susan Crawford. I don't want him either, bro. Power to the people, not to the billionaires. What do you think of the voter ID law? It doesn't. I think voter ID laws in general are really bad, but it seems like based off of just reading this blurb right here, it seems like essentially they already have this, and it's just making it more entrenched in their constitution. So it's not a great thing, but it's not like devastating. IMO, that stands for in my opinion. Ossoff was always vulnerable. Warnock carried him that first election that went to a runoff. I'm not convinced he'll win. I'm not convinced he'll win either, but Alex Kawa says, I love how they bring up Soros as if the left is obsessed with billionaires buying elections. Little do they know they're actually principled and can't be hypocrisy burned. There you go, Alex. Get him. Santiago says, trans rights are humans' rights. I agree with that. Jan Goodwin, thank you so much for your donation. Has Elon tweeted about the election results? I don't know. I don't have a Twitter, so I don't think I can even check. Time to work on getting rid of the Electoral College. Agreed. Sherry, thank you for your donation. Thank you, Sam and Allan. You have taught me so much. Your knowledge is very appreciated. Well, we appreciate you tuning in, and we appreciate you being a loyal audience member. April 1 was a good day for the Dems, no doubt. Although tomorrow we might get a little rained on our parade with the whole tariff day or whatever he's calling it, Day of Freedom. Angel Rob says, I'm from the UK and conservatives tried similar things and lost. We brought in ID laws where they weren't any. Labor still won. I'm from the Netherlands. Why is it important that Crawford won this state? Because Wisconsin is a massive swing state in the presidential election because we are based off the Electoral College. So things that happen in Wisconsin are important for the whole nation because Wisconsin can decide a presidential race. Now, a Supreme Court appointee can make a lot of key decisions on elections, on districts, on just rulings on elections in general that will affect everything in the state. Voting, registration, things that happen after election, challenges. So that's why it's important. Hello, Pamela. Dude, she's still crushing. I mean, her lead has narrowed, obviously, but she's still doing really well. Elon looked ridiculous in that cheese hat. I agree. He looks stupid. Tim says, now the Democrats will be able to set districts and the Supreme Court will side with them. Well, we don't just want Democrats. I mean, look, there are Democrats who do bad things. We just want someone who's going to be fair. And I think Susan Crawford is that person. Wisconsin is heavily gerrymandered. Their maps were trash. I think they're still fighting the maps. That's from Educate to Free Us. Does this election prove that Democrats really made a mistake in pushing Biden out? I don't know if this election, if you can prove that for sure. We'll never be able to prove that for sure. And I don't think this election alone proves that. No. Jeff says, gerrymandering in our state of Wisconsin is the reason that this race is so important. Foxy Roxy says, all that money Elon spent could have gone to help homeless veterans. Fair point. Evan LaPlante says, if we had politicians that could truly tap into the socialist leanings of Wisconsinites without using the word, they would win in a landslide. I know these voters, and they would vote Dem if framed. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think Bernie's always done well in Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin is supposedly the most gerrymandered state in the U.S. Is that true? It seems hard to believe, but maybe it's true. How much did Elon end up spending in Wisconsin? I don't know. North Carolina may be more gerrymandered. I know North Carolina is very gerrymandered. Lauren Gold says, also Wisconsin, the state government fixed their gerrymandering issue for state elections, and now there is an opportunity to do that for national reputation. National, you know what I'm saying? So Crawford is key. Joe Brooks says, Sam, I've been watching since well before the 24 election. I think you're really coming along as a political analyst. What? Come on, bro. This race might have single-handedly given the House of the Dems in 26. Why do you say that? I'm not necessarily sure there's a direct correlation between this and the House. Would Nikki Haley be a good Republican candidate, or is she bad too? She's pretty bad. She's better than Trump. She's better than J.D. Vance. But she's not great. Jenna Kitty says, Elon needs to fly his Cybertruck body back home. Come on, bro. No body shaming. B. Douglas says, Elon Musk is the most socially awkward individual I've ever seen. That is true. And we have an issue, especially in America, of when somebody is good at one thing, we think they are good at a number of things. So he's good at running a business. He's an innovator. It doesn't mean he's good at politics. It doesn't mean he's a good speaker. That doesn't mean he has any other credentials or any other skills to do anything else. Am I streaming tariff announcements tomorrow? Yes, I believe so. Around anywhere between noon and 2 o'clock, somewhere in that range. So make sure you tune in. Robert Jackson says, one party believes in democracy and one doesn't. I think that's a fair assessment. Kolahi SF says, 9 Republicans broke ranks today on the voting by proxy maternity deal today. Can we dip into that, Sam Lichtman? Greater than Mike Johnson, or Mike Johnson had a hissy fit. I don't know what you're talking about. But I trust your information. I just haven't followed it. How I be celebrating Liberation Day tomorrow? Probably by streaming. Per New York Times, Elon Musk spent $25 million. Sheesh. How long before Trump backs off the tariffs after announcing them tomorrow? I don't know. I can't keep track of where his brain is at. '69 says, I went on a right-wing live stream and they think that Wisconsin is going down in the gutter now that Crawford is winning. It's like what goes through their heads, I swear. Look, everybody has their own perspective. Their perspective is valid. They think it's going to go down the tube. Okay, fine. What can you do about it? Is it fair to say that this is the biggest election of 2025? I don't know. Are there other elections in 2025 coming up? I don't even know. How is Florida doing? Guys, Florida is done. Has been done for a while. Republicans won both seats. Is that what you mean? The New Jersey and Virginia governor's race will be important too in November. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. Evan says, Florida has been cooked for years, but the turnout looks good for Dems. Yeah, the margins were better for Dems for sure. Watch Schimmel's speech. He's giving a speech right now. Is it 1M or 2M's? Oh, that's Crawford.
Scientists at Stanford Research Institute have made a shocking discovery that changes everything we know about manifestation. So if you or a loved one is struggling with loneliness, financial burdens, or feeling disconnected from the universe...
Okay, chill, bro.
Thank you for trusting me to serve you on the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Wisconsin.
This campaign has been an incredible, life-altering experience. In so many ways. And I'm so grateful to have earned the trust and support of voters across this great state. And I'm here tonight
Wisconsin.
because I've spent my life fighting to do what's right. That's why I got into this race, to protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of all Wisconsinites. Growing up in Chippewa Falls, I was blessed with a loving family. Yeah, Chippewa! Yeah!
That was awkward. Yeah, Chippewa! Yeah!
People watched out for each other. And my experiences growing up in small-town Wisconsin shaped me into the person that I am today. Someone who values hard work, common sense, honesty, and who can tell right from wrong. Someone...
Diana says she has not won yet. She won, Diana.
Tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world.
Got him. Got him.
For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
She's not the most charismatic speaker now, is she? But she's a judge. She doesn't need to be a very charismatic speaker.
I've spent my whole career fighting for Wisconsin as a prosecutor, a lawyer, a judge, and now a soon-to-be justice on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Standing up for our fundamental rights and freedoms, protecting Wisconsin families and communities. My promise to Wisconsin is clear. I will be a fair, impartial, and common sense justice.
Evan says Wisconsinites are kind of the odd ones out in the USA. We're more like awkward Canadians. That's funny.
And I want to thank everyone across the state who helped to get us to this point. I'm here because of you. To every volunteer who made this happen, for every phone call, every door knocked, every text sent, every postcard written and mailed. It all paid off. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I didn't do anything, but you're welcome.
To all of my friends.
I was thinking the same thing. The woman to the left of the screen looks like a younger Debbie Wasserman Schultz. For a second, I was like, is that Debbie Wasserman Schultz? And I was like, that makes no sense that she would be there.
Led by the incredible Cassie Finelli. There she is. Thank you for all of your work to make this happen. All the late...
Apparently the Debbie Wasserman Schultz lookalike is Ann Bradley.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael Yu, for your donation. I appreciate that.
She's the best. They're all the best. To all of our partners and everyone who worked so...
Peter Collingwood said, unfortunately, this is just a Wisconsin judge, not the Supreme Court. Yeah, but it matters. Take the little wins, Peter. Peter, take the small wins.
Justice Rebecca Dallett.
That's not Ann. Rebecca Dallett. Someone lied to me.
Karofsky.
Brad Schimmel will end up in a compensatory MAGA crony position somewhere else. I don't know. Trump doesn't like losers. I think they're just going to kick him to the roadside and forget about him.
Oh my gosh.
She might be the most awkward person I've ever seen. We're talking about Elon Musk being awkward. Oh my gosh. Woo!
In this race. And to Ann, although no one can truly fill your shoes, I am incredibly honored to succeed in the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Nah, she's not nearly as awkward as Musk. That's true, but she's still pretty awkward.
Of service to our state. And you are the embodiment of fairness.
Oh, no ad, no ad, no ad.
It's true. And to my family who stand with me here today.
Wow, her kids are way taller than her. I guess her husband's pretty tall.
My kids, Fred and Maisie. My brothers, Eric and Philip, who are here somewhere. There they are. My nephew, Evan. And to my mom and dad and the rest of the family watching from home. Thank you for all of your love and support and for standing by me throughout this crazy journey. and to Petra.
Masters thinks she looks like Nancy Pelosi. Her hair and her frame looks like Nancy Pelosi. I can kind of see it, but she doesn't really actually look like Nancy Pelosi.
I know how glad you are to see the TV ads end.
How tall am I? I'm 6'2".
Today, Wisconsinites fended off an unprecedented attack on our democracy. That's right. Our fair elections and our Supreme Court. And Wisconsins stood up and said loudly that justice does not have a price. Our courts are not for sale. Yeah. And you have entrusted me with great responsibilities, and I will carry them out with honesty, dedication, and integrity. I will work hard each and every day to uphold our Constitution and administer justice for the people of Wisconsin. I look forward to working with my colleagues on the Wisconsin Supreme Court to deliver fair and impartial decisions.
That's what we want, fair decisions. That's what we want, fair decisions.
And while we celebrate tonight, I want to share some words of the great Honorable Thurgood Marshall, which I find fit the unprecedented moment we are living in. Democracy just cannot flourish amid...
David says, at least she isn't jumping around like some dork. That's a really good point, David. I think that's a fair point.
...root amid rage. America must get to work. In the chill climate in which we live, we must go against the prevailing wind. We must dissent from the indifference. We must dissent from the apathy. We must dissent from the fear, the hatred, and the mistrust. We must dissent because America can do better, because America has no choice but to do better.
Joe says, yeah, I don't think she was awkward. Okay, I was overselling it a little bit, but she's a little awkward.
We will confront and overcome the challenges we face.
She's just like a mom, you know. She's just a little awkward, cringy mommy, you know.
Forward!
Mommy sounded weird. Mom.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Wisconsin. I am forever grateful. Thank you.
Oh, can't have that as copyrighted music. Can't have that at all. Ruben says Musk got his cheeks clapped. One of my friends says that same thing. Are you Jorge? Carlos says, she won the thing, innit? Yeah, brother. I don't know how to respond in a British way. Milwaukee's still only 70% in. Oh, I X'd it out. Damn it. I think I lost it. Wisconsin. Supreme Court race. Listen, baby. Ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are, no matter how far. Who might benefit from the remaining votes? She still's ahead on the remaining votes too, folks. What remains still mostly in the big cities. Is Brad Schimmel election denying right now? I don't know. I don't know what's happening with Brad Schimmel. H. Fan says, I was quite upset with the Florida results, but the Wisconsin election technically more important. I don't know if it's more important. Like if Dems could have gotten both Florida seats, I mean, that'd be pretty important. But I think just the Florida seats were just too, it wasn't going to happen. Damn. In Dane County, she's plus 61. I want to hear Schimmel talk. Where you at, Schimmel? Oh, Schimmel conceded. Thank God. I mean, these margins of victory are crazy. Plus 64, plus 61, plus 46. His biggest margin of victory looks like it's 33 plus 42 in Oconto County. Nope, plus 45 in Florence County. Nope, plus 49 in Burnett County, but only 3% reporting. Only 69% in Milwaukee County, 87% in Dane, so it's not going to be a ton more from Dane. Although they do say, it says, what remains. Oh, this is what remains. This is what's been reported. Still, two big cities are the biggest circles. Sorry, I was reading that wrong before. These small counties out here are just too small to catch up. Susan Crawford won, Heather. Let's go. The Dems won the superintendent race according to the decision desk. I called it before them, Alex, just to be clear. Although I said I think she's going to win. That's not quite a call, is it? Why zero results from small counties? I don't know, man. They're probably like hand counting those ballots up there. Up here, they're probably hand counting them. Although, who knew Bayfield County was very progressive? Bayfield County. 82% in, she won 63 to 37. What is in Bayfield County? Bayfield County, Wisconsin. What's the biggest city up here? Iron River. Never heard of it. See, what does it look like? That's very beautiful. Extremely beautiful. Wow. The issue is it's probably cold most of the year there. Can't handle that. CNN just called it. Only 16,000 people live there. Not many people between the age of 20 and 35 live there. Heather Grass, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate that. You're the best. Why was the race so expensive? Because a lot of rich people put a lot of money into it. That's why. What's up with our boy Schimmel? The real witness were the people that got away with Elon's checks. You ain't lying, Pickled Nick. You ain't lying. Rain County voting blue was interesting. That county voted red in the last few presidential elections. Where's Rain County? Oh, north of Kenosha. In between Kenosha. That went red. I guess it was still pretty close. I mean, she won by less than a percentage point. Not a lot of rich people. It was like 6 people. Okay. A few people with a lot of money. Is that better for you? Jeez Louise. Trempealeau County, Iron County, Vilas County, Marinette County, Green Lake County, and Columbia County. Still nothing reporting. All right, folks, I'm getting real tired. I've been streaming for a while now. Had a long day. But I'm feeling good with this Susan Crawford victory. I think you should too. I will be live tomorrow, guys. So if you want to chill during the day, come and join the stream. I'd love to see you there. All right, folks.